Both India and Pakistan have confirmed an overnight exchange of fire along the contested and highly militarized border in Kashmir. The Indian Army says it conducted, quote, a limited firing of small arms, accusing Pakistani troops of initiating the shooting. Islamabad, though, did not say who started the exchange, but reaffirmed that civilians were not targeted. Indian security forces have launched a manhunt to capture fugitives responsible for Tuesday's attacks that killed 26 people. Authorities say they have demolished the houses of 2 suspects. This is after the Indian government vowed to take tougher measures, with Prime Minister Modi pledging to hunt down all gunmen, quote, to the ends of the earth. This week's attack has prompted a diplomatic spat between the 2 sides, which saw New Delhi revoke a decades-long water-sharing treaty. Pakistan's defense minister describing the move as a serious blow to relations, warning that escalation could destabilize the region and possibly lead to conflict. Meanwhile, Pakistan's Senate has passed a resolution rejecting India's attempts to link the country to that terror attack on Tuesday. Islamabad has since retaliated with tit-for-tat measures, including suspending of a similar agreement. This pact, which respects the line of control, refers to the boundary demarcating the position of the 2 armies in disputed Kashmir. And for more, we're joined by Neha, Poonia in New Delhi and Hira, Mustafa in Islamabad. Neha, let's start with you. Both sides reporting and confirming that exchange of fire across the line of control in Kashmir. What has India said about this incident?
Well, the Indian Army is saying that there was a small firing incident across several locations along the line of control, which is the de facto border between Pakistan and Indian-administered Kashmir. India says that firing was appropriately responded to by Indian forces and that no casualties were recorded or reported. Now, what's interesting is this happened after Pakistan said it was considering suspending the Shimla Agreement, which is what upholds that de facto border in the disputed regions of Kashmir. And it also happened just before India's army chief arrived in Kashmir to hold a security review. He since met officials. He's assessed, he says, short and long-term security needs. Also met the Lieutenant Governor of the state, who is an appointee by the Indian government. He is essentially Prime Minister Narendra Modi's appointee. And the Lieutenant Governor has said that the army chief and he have agreed to intensify efforts to crush the infrastructure of terrorism, saying that every perpetrator and supporter must be hunted down. Language very similar to the comments that Prime Minister Narendra Modi made on Thursday in his first public comments since the attack, where he said his government would hunt down the perpetrators and their backers to the very ends of the earth. And what's happened since is we've seen a big search operation, a manhunt for the suspected gunmen. We have seen the homes of 2 suspected terrorists that were demolished by local authorities. A cash reward of $23,000 has been announced for the men who are believed to be behind this attack. India putting up sketches as well, asking locals to give information where they can. And hundreds and thousands of people have been questioned in Kashmir as well for any links to militant groups.
Hira, let's get to you. We heard Neha there. So the Indian Army's confirmation of, and I quote, a limited firing of small arms, which it says was appropriate given what India says was a firing that was started by Pakistan. How has Pakistan responded to these allegations from New Delhi?
Well, there hasn't been any official comment made by the Pakistani side against these allegations leveled by India that Pakistan initiated these crossfire. But what we are hearing from the officials that the security at the border between India and Pakistan is on high alert, and we have heard from the officials that there are reports of crossfire, but there hasn't been any official comment made by the Pakistani authorities. Given the fact that Pakistan has reiterated its stance categorically that if there is any crossfire or cross-border strike takes place from Indian side, Pakistan will not back down, and India should brace itself for a kinetic reaction coming from the Pakistani side. Having said that, this crossfire incident comes at a time when international community is urging both India and Pakistan to exercise maximum restraint. This has sparked fear among the experts here in the capital, who believe that international players need to play their role, citing America, China and other regional players who need to play their role in sorting out this conflict that could spiral, according to them, given the fact that the situation is quite volatile in the disputed region of Kashmir.
All right, Neha, because concerns are now to put a cap on any spiraling in these tensions between India and Pakistan. But back to the original attack on Tuesday, even before this happened, there have been calls within the Indian government, opposition and the ruling parties to have a more comprehensive policy to manage security in the Indian-controlled Kashmiri region. Is this argument being raised within the Indian government now, given the attack that happened on Tuesday?
You know, the opposition has been talking about an urgent need to investigate whether there were any security lapses that led to the attack on those tourists on Tuesday. And this is something that came up during the all-party meeting that the government held on Thursday evening as well. And, you know, it's something that the local media has been reporting on quite extensively on Friday. It's understood that opposition leaders did ask the government whether there were any lapses. And the government has, made some observations saying that one, that meadow in the town of Pahalgam was allegedly open to tourists without informing local police teams, as is the protocol. That's what came through in this all-party meeting. And also the government saying that there was, there were no security teams posted in that meadow at that time. And this is despite hundreds of security teams being in Pahalgam. So this has raised some questions about whether or not this could be avoided. But now, of course, security has been hiked in Pahalgam and all of Kashmir.
All right, back to you, Hira. Now, one of the moves we saw from New Delhi in the aftermath of this attack was to revoke or to suspend its participation in a treaty to share water. This treaty has been in place for decades now. India now calling that decision to revoke the Indus Treaty purely symbolic. But for Pakistan, certainly for its agricultural sector, this move, should India act on it, would be far more than just symbolic.
Well, we have seen some heated debates in the Senate session today amongst the lawmakers who have questioned India's action of revoking Indus Water Treaty, a major water sharing agreement, stating that India is deliberately taking this move and find this as an opportunity to walk away from this water sharing agreement. But Pakistani lawmakers have stated that Pakistan will take a stern action against this, and has stated this categorically, that if India tries to change the course of water, Pakistan will consider it as a war. Having said that, we have seen some heated exchange of statements among the lawmakers, during which they stated that what kind of precedent India is setting for the entire world, hinting the waters that are coming from China to New Delhi. In this context, they have also passed a resolution condemning the India's allegations against Pakistan that Pakistan has any involvement in the terror attack that happened in Indian-administered Kashmir. Also, in a media briefing today, a Foreign Office spokesperson has categorically stated that India has no right to take a unilateral decision in this water sharing agreement because World Bank is the guarantor.
Neha, Poonia and in New Delhi, and here in Mustafa and Islamabad looking at moves from both sides following this deadly attack on tourists in Indian-controlled Kashmir.